Hello, I'm Michael Messing, and I'm here today to review the Fulaim X5 wireless microphone system. Now, let me give you a little bit of background. I've been a professional magician for more than 35 years, and I've also been a professional photographer part-time almost as long. And I have been using wireless microphones since the late 80s. My first wireless microphone system, and of course these were for performances, was a Samson wireless microphone. I since then have gone to Shure mic, and then I have settled on Sennheiser. I've been using Sennheiser mics now for about 20 years. In particular, I love the Sennheiser Evolution EW100 system. Can be used for video recording, and so it's super compact. Love them a lot for stage work. For video work, they work great if it's something super critical, but they are a little more complicated. And so that's where the Fulaim mics came in. I started after the pandemic started doing a lot more video work and setting up the Sennheiser while they worked. There's more to it to set it up. It's a little more complicated. And then we started my magic club that meets monthly, decided to keep on doing Zoom presentations during our regular meetings where we were now meeting, so people who were out of town could participate. And I wanted to find a good way to microphone more than one person, the person presenting, and then having a microphone where you could hear people. I tried using shotgun mic or just the camera mic. We tried using the microphone built into the laptops. Worked okay. But then I ran across the Fulaim mics. And the way that happened is a professional photographer and videographer I know highly recommended during Black Friday this set right here. This is the Fulaim F1000 Pro, and I love this one. These were great. So when I've been using these since November, once a month at a Magic Club meeting, and then more recently started also at a professional photographer's monthly meeting, recording whoever is the presenter using the mics. Never had any issues. Wonderful set. When the X5 was announced, I was kind of curious. What's the difference? So I checked on it, and I have been very fortunate that I have been asked to review them. So I got a set. Now, let me show you the fun differences between these two, because they both are great units, and I'm going to keep them both. They have some pluses and minuses of each. With the Fulaim 1000, and by the way, these things come in really cool boxes. This is kind of like Apple does, where it's a magnetic box, and it's really nicely made. This is the 1000 Pro, the Fulaim 1000 Pro, and you can see it's a nice little case. Has the two transmitters and the receiver. This one really surprised me when it came in, because I didn't realize when looking at the listings on it that it is as small as it is. Check out that. These are both charging cases, and you can see there's quite a bit of difference between the 1000 and the X5. The transmitters and receivers are also considerably smaller. Here's the receiver, here's the transmitter for the X5 system, and here are the transmitter and receiver for the 1000 system. Now you can see transmitter a little bit longer, but quite a bit smaller, and the receiver much the same way, much smaller. So this is very handy because these will be really easy to transport. They both have charging cases. Now that's where one of the differences between the two of them. The 1000 system has a magnetic charging base, so you can actually see the case itself has a built-in battery bank, and so this one is convenient as far as charging is concerned, because you can go ahead and just put it on a magnetic charger like I use for my iPhone. The X5 system is not a magnetic charger, but it does have a USB-C connection right back here for you to plug it in. Not quite as convenient, but I'm sure the size has a lot to do with that. Also, the 1000 system is more expensive than the X5 system. The big plus to the X5 system is that the transmitters can record the audio as well as transmitting it. Why is that important? If you're doing something critical, these are wireless. Anyone who's used wireless microphones for a while knows that you can have some interference every now and then. You might have a dropout, you might have a little bit of noise. If this is something critical and that's the only thing you've recorded, that's a problem. But since this is recording directly into the transmitter, it's not using the Wi-Fi frequency for the part that it's recording itself. If the part that went to your camera has a dropout, you can just use the recording you did on the mic transmitter. That's kind of cool. For a mission critical situation, that would be perfect. That is a big plus of the Fulaim X5 over the 1000 system. Now the 1000 system comes with a few more accessories. They both come with everything you need really to get going. This is from the X5 system. You get a couple of windscreens here to use with the mics. You get the patch cables. This is your 3.5 millimeter cable that goes from the receiver to the camera. And then you have also connectors for an iPhone or for an Android phone. So if you want to do your recording directly in there, and then you have your USB-C to USB-A cable for doing your charging. Now the Fulaim 1000 also comes with a couple of lavalier mics. Both of these transmitter sets can be plugged into, have a lavalier mic plugged into them. And so if you prefer to have the lavalier rather than the microphone transmitter itself connected to a visible part of a person, well, you have that option. So when I have done recording for some business purposes, I prefer to have a lavalier. Speaking of which, the lavalier I'm using is just a inexpensive wired lavalier microphone. In a few minutes, I'm going to switch out microphones and go to the X5 so you can hear what it sounds like. Distance on it is remarkable. I believe they estimated it at over 600 feet. I have no reason to go that far from my transmitter to my receiver, but I have done some testing. Most of the time, I'm no more than 15 to 20 feet away from whoever is wearing the transmitter. But earlier today, I took it, set it up, connected it to my camera, went downstairs into my garage. Now that's actually 2 levels down with doors closed between here and there, and no dropout whatsoever. Was perfectly clear. I have no doubt that 50 to 100 feet would not be really any kind of a problem. So that's just remarkable, especially at this price point. I mean, if you, those Sennheiser mics that I'm talking about, the ones I showed you are my G2 series. I use G4 as currently as my main ones, and the G2s are my backup. That's an almost $800 system, whereas this is $149.95 at Amazon.com, and they have at this time a 10% discount on it. So for $135, you get an incredible wireless microphone system with 2 transmitters that you can use simultaneously and a receiver. So enough talking about the pluses. I mean, obviously you can tell I love these microphones. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch from this corded mic to actually using the X5 mic so you can hear exactly what they sound like. Okay, so now I've switched over to the Fulaim X5 microphone. So I am not using the windscreen with it at all. I am just using the transmitter as is. And that's where this is so convenient. I mean, setting it up, you just slide the receiver in the hot shoe of your camera if you're using a camera. There's a little clip on it. You slide it in there. Take the audio cable, plug it directly into the camera, set your sound level. And these mics turn themselves on the minute you open the case They also start charging the minute you put them back inside the case. So you can see why I consider them to be a lot more convenient to use than my Sennheiser system. So for recording like this, 30 seconds and it's up and ready, and I can start recording, and you can hear that the sound is remarkable. I mean, for a $149 microphone system, unbelievable. When I got in the business 30 plus years ago, this would have never been something that anybody could have considered would happen, that you could come up with a microphone system with 2 transmitters and receivers for $150, and it would be this simple, this small, and work perfectly. So this is my wireless microphone system of choice when I'm doing any kind of video recording. I am going to be testing to see if I can use both sets, the 1000, Fulaim 1000 and the X5 together, which would give me 4 microphones with 2 receivers. I have an adapter that would allow me to connect both of those to my camera, and I would love to see if that will work without interference. I haven't had an opportunity to do this. I will say this, I am so confident in the Fulaim system that when the X5 came in, I had one of my photography club meetings that evening, and there was going to be a presentation. I came home, picked up the microphone set, charged it on the way to the meeting, and used it that night. Since I'd been using the 1000, I figured I'd know exactly what I needed to do with it, set it up, and it worked perfectly for a 1.5 hour presentation. That's the other thing. These microphones have a great life. I've never used them for more than 3 hours at a time, but they've held up without any problem, not even close to using all the battery. And of course, they're rechargeable. So, you just have to put them back in the case. The charging case will charge them for you. When you need to, you can recharge the charging case. But carrying this around, and you have a complete video microphone system. That is just incredible. So I'm super thrilled. I think you'll find that they'll satisfy you as well if you're just doing some video recording, whether it's something high level or you're doing a video blog, whatever your needs. I can recommend them.